So, Twin Star Exorcists was another series that I had on my radar for this season, and after watching the first episode, it definitely wasn't, disappointing. I actually, very enjoyed it, and so because of that, I definitely want to, talk about it, and possibly do a review. Now, I'm not sure if this right here will, lead to a review, or maybe this right here will be, a first impression, but I do feel the need to talk about this series, because overall, like I said, this first episode, to me, it was very strong. And so we see now that in the beginning we have our main character Rukuro. We see now that in his past, this character went through something very traumatic, because we see now he was missing an arm, and all you see is fire everywhere. There was blood. We saw body parts. We saw shoes. Pretty much it was a mess. And we see now that this guy, he was dreaming of being the strongest exorcist, and right now those dreams came burning down, literally. And so right now, 2 years later, we see that, this guy, he was living a very average life. And we see now another main character who goes by Benio. Apparently she's going to Tokyo because she was being called in, and we see now she lived with this older woman who I'm going to assume is her grandmother. And so we see now that apparently this girl, she is very strong and very powerful, because she is an exorcist, and right now she believes she's being called to Tokyo for that very reason. But going back to our main male character, Rukuro, we see now that he was confessing to this girl, and right away she turned him down because she mature guys. And right now this guy was definitely not being very mature, because when he ran off, we actually see him now colliding face first into this girl with blonde and green hair chest. And to me, that right there was awesome. But at the same time, Rukuro, he definitely did not seem that very fussed about it or embarrassed. So maybe that right there wasn't the very first time that that he had did that. And so now we see that, this girl, he definitely know what he goes through, because every time he get rejected, he actually runs straight home. And so right now, while they were talking, because she definitely wasn't making this, she definitely wasn't making this, a situation any better, because she was making him feel even worse, because she was pretty much not finding any good qualities about him. But then we see now that there was this one side of him that she actually found cute. So it's obvious that this girl, has had this little crush on him. But of course, Rukuro has, no idea about that. But we see now that while they were talking, there were these three boys picking on this smaller boy with glasses. And so right now we see Rukuro trying to be a hero, but that right there had backfired, because we see this cat appear out of nowhere and actually makes him trip up. And then we see that not only did he fall, but he also hit his chin on this stone. And that right there also made him bleed. And at the same time, he was talking funny, but at least he had made those boys, give back that other little boy belongings. And so right now, going back to Benio now, after that scene, we see now that she was getting on a train, and out of nowhere, all the lights were going out. And so of course now people were actually getting scared. And then we see that, on the windows we saw these black looking monsters with these red eyes. And so they are called the Kagure. And so right now with Benio being, an exorcist, she had, only one thing to do, and that right there was to exercise all of them. And so we see her now opening this Magano gate. And we see that when she entered that gate, she was still in a train, but it was a parallel world where pretty much everything is a wasteland. But we see these red vines covering everything. And so right now she was in the Kagure world, and we see her now fighting them. But at the same time, she had put on this white mask, and when we see her, start fighting, later on, we see the mask had these blue markings on them, which we learn are actually enhancements. And so right now there was this other main character whose name is Ryogo, hopefully I'm saying that right, but Ryogo served this older exorcist named G Sama, something like that. And so we see now they were picking up what Benio was doing, because obviously that right there is where the Kagure were like coming from. And so right now we have Ryogo and the other two characters. They were going to go to that location and deal with it. And we see now that when Rukuro, had actually got home, we have Ryogo actually, wanting him to go with him, but then we have Rukuro like turning him down and running away. And at first, I found that, rather weird, because this character seemed to be, this character seemed to be an exorcist when the series, or should I say when the episode first started, but now it seems like he is like running from that. And so right now we have the other two characters, they were like wondering why in the world is he here, because he actually doesn't train, and of course he does not fight the Kagure, so why is he here, especially when their teacher is still like babying him. And so right now we have Ryogo telling him that Rukuro, he actually is a survivor of a tragedy that happened 2 years ago, because prior to that he actually like at 12 years old, this guy was a pretty beastie, exorcist that had everybody respect. And so right now, going back to Benio, she was like still fighting the Kagure. And we see now that these Kagure, they actually do cannibalism, where they eat each other to like become stronger. And we see now that one of them were like eating so many of them, he actually like mutated into like this giant, like corrupted owl-looking monster. And so at one point he actually had Benio like kind of pinned down because it did grab her. And so we see now that when she got free, she actually did like this awesome like fire attack where she actually took it out. But at the same time, because she was hungry, she had, almost no energy. And so she passed out after that. And all we see now is it's like her falling. And so then we have Rukuro. He was like on this bridge, like thinking to herself. And then we see now that the image of the past, like came back to him. And so right now, like while he was thinking about that, that's where we had Benio appearing. And so right now, because she was falling, he actually jumped over that bridge to actually catch her. And so eventually both of them fell into the water. And so right now, like when she actually came to, she actually wanted him to like help her, because right now she was like trying to go to some she was trying to go to some place on her map, but she had no idea how to get there. And so right now Rukuro was like, I'll help you, but every time he would like talk to her, she would like give him like the silent treatment, and that's because she find like talking or having a conversation like annoying. And so right now she was so hungry that eventually, where they have reached this like candy store, she actually wanted to go there. And so Rukuro did something extremely stupid. Like to me personally, I still don't know why in the world he would like give her, his whole wallet. Now I can understand giving her some money, obviously, but you never give somebody your wallet, because she actually spent all like his allowance on like some kind of like black ball. And so now, he was like getting upset because she did that. And like at the same time, he actually wanted some of like he actually wanted some what she was eating, because he actually did use all his allowance to buy that. So like the least she could do was like share, but she was like actually snarling at him. And to me, I found that very hilarious, because I thought Benio might be like a mature kind of character, but sometimes she can be, very, very childish. And so right now, while they were walking, they had like passed by these two kids. And so while they were walking, both of them had noticed that the Kagure, they were like definitely around. And so when both of them, looked back, those kids were like actually gone. And so obviously Benio, she definitely knew what happened, because we see her, opening the gate almost immediately. And so we see now that when she did that, Ruko here, he also, got pulled in. And so right now we see that one of the kids, they actually got hurt, and we see now that his sister, she was like, like calling for him. And I mean, calling to him, because obviously, it's definitely not looking good. But then we have Benio, who actually came in there and saved him. But then out of nowhere, all you see is like these other Kageras, popping up. And so then we see, Benio, obviously she has to face these all alone. And so right now she definitely cannot hold back. And so all you see her using, all these enhancements. Like one had like boosted her strength. The other one had gave her, like more speed. The other one increased her defense. And the last one also improved her eyesight. And so we see now that after she was done powering herself up, she was blitzing through all the Kageras, and that right there was like freaking badass. And one thing I definitely like is when a character uses like some kind of like special technique, they get like this special cut in that's black and blue, and that right there to me looks so freaking epic. Like that right there is like hands down my favorite part of this series so far, and hopefully they can actually keep that up. But after she was done taking out all those Kageras, that boy will like still hurt. But she also had, a healing talisman that healed that wound almost instantly. And so right now Rukuro was like saying, nice job back there. And she was like, why are you here? And then, he got kind of mad saying, because you brought me here, because, that gate also dragged him, into this. And so then we see a special kind of like Kagure that apparently these two have like never seen before. It was definitely, like disgusting, because we see that they had like this kind of like big bug body, like to me it was like almost like what's the word? A mutated spider. There we go. Because we see how it had like this mutated backside with these legs, coming out from the sides, and then we see now how it had like these big arms, but then going to the top, it had like this little figure who also had arms as well. And so we see now that when Benio had charged in there, like we see that that this Kagure, this like special type, it definitely had life and speed to it, and obviously some strength, because when it actually like counter her attack, it like not only did it like send her back, but it made her bounce against like all these different like rocks. And so now we learn actually if she did not increase her defense, that one move right there, like would have killed her. And so she definitely this right here will definitely not be a Kagure she can defeat easily. And so she was telling Rukuro, take this talisman and get these kids out of here. And so right now, like while she was fighting, to me it seemed like she was like trying to like kill this monster, but at the same time, like while they were fighting, it seemed that the monster like wasn't really hitting her. It like to me it seemed like it was almost as if her attacks were like getting like sent back to her, causing her to like damage herself, but at the same time she was still inflicting damage on the Kagure. Like to me it was just weird. But eventually at one point she actually like lost her mask, and of course she had lost the rest of her enhancements. And so when she saw that she was out of talismans, obviously that right there was a pretty dire situation for her. And so then we have Rukuro coming down, and this guy was like obviously scared, but at the same time he was like he was actually like remembering her words, because she was saying how she wants to make a future where no one will suffer at the hands the Kagure, because that right there was her dream, and that right there definitely resonated with Rukuro, because like when this guy was an exorcist, he always used to say how he'll get rid of all the evil like Kagure. And so right now we see him, like holding a black talisman and nothing was on it. But we see that when he brings out his power, we see this like these markings on his arm. They actually go to the talisman, and then we have his arm, transforming on some Kaguma, on some Kazuma type of stuff from Escride. And so now we see his arm is like to me it looked pretty beastie. It's like a fiery demon arm, and that right there was awesome. And we see him now one-shotting that Kagure, and that right there was like so damn epic. But at the same time, where we had Benio like questioning him about his power, he was saying how like it was born like a curse. So I do wonder, if that right there from the tragedy that like he had suffered through, like 2 years ago, because at the same time we saw these special kind of like Kagures, I'm guessing, like back then. So I do wonder, when in the world will we like learn about that. And so at the end now, we saw some guy like wearing this priest garb, and so apparently he was like looking into a fire, and we see now that these markings appeared in it, and that right there was like representing Benio and Rukuro. And so right now this guy was like giving off this crazy laugh, but at the same time this guy definitely must be our main antagonist for this show. But overall, like to me, this right here was a very strong episode. Like for first episodes, to me, it was definitely like very strong. Obviously, I do believe that that outside of the fighting scenes, the animation could have been a little better, but for the fighting scenes, it was perfect. And like I said, those cut-ins for like those cut-ins for the special attacks, like to me, that right there was just like freaking perfect. But of course, let me know what you guys thought. I'm going to give this episode a pretty damn good rating, and that right there is like a 7 or an 8. That right there is like a 7 or an 8. Let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really helps me out. And as always, you guys take it easy, and I will see you all next time.